And so, my pleasure to welcome everybody who is watching from wherever you are in the world to cross-cultural experience. Now, the whole idea is for us to recount whatever experience we've had, outside of our own culture. And more importantly, what did we learn from it? I know that people who have traveled, have all sorts of experiences. People who intend to travel also ask themselves, hey, what am I going to experience, in this place that I've never been to before? So the whole idea is for us to recognize that when we go outside of our own natural, normal, cultural domain, I think we have an obligation to respect what people do there. You don't just go and impose your culture or the way you do things on other people. Likewise, they are not supposed to come to your own domain and then begin to dictate issues. My name is Uche Onyebadi, and I have a guest who is originally from Bangladesh. Tumi Kemunache.
জি, আমি ভালো আছি। I'm good.
Okay, that's all I can speak. That's the way of saying, how are you doing? All right, please introduce yourself and then we'll just go straight to this. So remember, this is just a conversation.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much for organizing this wonderful cross-cultural experience sharing platform. I really appreciated that. My name is Dr. Delaware Arif. I've been in the US since 2008. I've been teaching communication, and I'm originally from Bangladesh. So if you count all my experience teaching, I've been teaching for 22 years. I
Okay.
started in 2002 at University of Chittagong in Bangladesh. And then I came to US in 2008 at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, where I met my mentor and advisor, Dr. Uche. And since then, we have been very close and friends, and he's my mentor. And thank you very much for inviting me again. So, every day, um, we basically experience different kinds of cultural issues wherever we go in terms of, out of our, box while we are not in our circle. So I would like to share one experience when I was in Germany in 2005. I went to Germany um, in 2005 to attend the International Institute for Journalism program. It's called Training for Trainers, and it was organized by um, the International Institute for Journalism, which was
So
funded.
you were a journalist in Bangladesh.
No,
That's why.
I was a professor in communication at
Oh, in
university,
communication. Okay. All
journalism
right.
teacher. So it was
Okay.
also for teachers and the trainers for journalism.
Okay. In Chittagong, you said?
Yeah, I was at University of Chittagong.
Chittagong.
So
Okay.
So I was there, and we were assigned to an apartment complex and one bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
So, um, by the way, that was my first plane ride and first time going outside Bangladesh.
First play. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, one of the famous news presenters in Bangladesh, like her name is Mithila Farzana. She used to be a news presenter for ATN News and ATN Bangla. So she was with me, but I think she traveled India or some other places. So we were flying and we reached to Berlin. And on the first day, they gave us some, euro and some changes.
Yeah.
So we were in restaurant to have our dinner, and it was so expensive because I was counting everything compared to like Bangladeshi taka. So
Did you forget that you were no longer in Bangladesh? How can
yes,
you be in
but
Germany and thinking Bangladesh again?
yeah. So there, I was thinking Bangladesh.
Yeah,
I was basically converting or each euro with Bangladeshi taka. At that time, it
right.
was 85 taka. So, for example, something was like costing 7 or 8 euros. I was trying to transfer in Bangla taka. That means 500 taka. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
not going to eat that. So we basically use, and now I recognize we basically ate, which is basically hot dog, just hot dog. In Germany, there's a famous hot dog. It's called Barkhorst or something like that. It's very
Okay.
thick
Yeah.
and long. So we ate only that. It was like, 1 or 2 euro. But the reason I'm saying that, food was very expensive. I'm not going to the main story yet. So I started cooking in my apartment, and I bought something, the grocery from Aldi and Lidl. And if you
Yeah.
buy like 5, 7, or 6 euros, it's lots of produce and grocery stuff. So I started cooking, and I used to take, because our program was from 8 to 5,
Okay.
whole day program. Like, it's
All day. Okay. All
yeah,
day
it's a
long.
2 months program, very compact, 8 to 5. So because food costs a lot of money, I used to um, take food from home. I used to cook night before when I was going, and so we were eating in a, like, in a community kitchen, or
Yeah.
it's called staff room. So I used to offer food. So we had an instructor she's from Switzerland. We are still friends. Her name is Christina Stuckey. She used to work in South Africa for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's still in South Africa or Switzerland. So I used to offer food, and I used to tell, because in our culture, teachers are highly respected. So
Okay.
we basically, in India, South Asia, Bangladesh, like, at least when I was growing up, we are somebody's coming, one of my teacher, we say, we change our direction of the road. For example, we are walking on the other side, we will come this way.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir, Assalamu alaikum, sir, or other, yeah.
Just a sign of respect, huh?
Respect. And we
Okay.
sometimes, some teachers are really moody, and especially in high school.
Uh,
And if you see our teacher, we basically touch the feet and
okay.
take the
Hmm.
dust from the feet, put it in our hand like this. So she was our teacher. So I was, out of respect, I was also trying to impress her as a student.
Yeah.
I was trying to offer her food, like, okay, I cook something, would like, and she took 1 or 2 times. Um, and then I think she got a wrong signal.
Oh, oh, no, no, no. Tell me, go back. Go back a little bit. You wanted to touch her
No, no,
feet?
no, no. In Bangladesh, what happened? We touch our teacher's feet, right? And take
Okay.
the dust on the
On
hand
your head?
as a
Okay.
respect. But
All
while I
right.
was offering her food, and 1 or 2 days, maybe she shared my food, she took my food.
Right.
Like, food means the,
Yeah. I mean, okay.
yeah. And she said, "Oh, very nice. You're a good cook." I said, "Okay, yeah. If you like, uh, you can." I was at the time, on honestly speaking, I didn't have anything in my mind. I said, "I can cook for you. I can bring lunch for you." And she thought, because if you ask someone for lunch, it means you would like to date that person. Date
Oh,
means, romantics. But in our culture, it's not that. Like, for example, if I like you as a person, I like to offer food. I like to
right.
invite people if I share, have some cooking, or like, some stuff to share. And this is common culture in our tradition, in our culture. So
Yeah,
I think,
I think it's the same thing most developing nations I've been to, including
yeah.
Nigeria, is the same. You don't eat alone. If you're eating it and people even walking strangers, you just invite them,
Hmm.
and then okay, just go ahead. Sorry.
And so, when I told her that, I would like to share food, I bring food.
Yeah,
Um, and she was smiling a little bit, like, she was my teacher, but, and um, but at the time I was married, and they know I was married, because
right.
we had to share. But she thought that,
You had other
yeah,
plans.
maybe while I'm feeding does mean that, if you invite someone for lunch or dinner, it does mean that you would like to take that person
Right.
out.
Okay.
That means something romantic or whatever. But, I didn't think, because it was out of my box, that people could interpret that way. And I said, no, 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 no. Just, I would like to share food, and that's it. Nothing beyond that. And she said, okay, okay. I think she wanted also, uh, I would say that, she was curious, and she didn't take it as offense, but, she
You,
I think got interested.
just, I mean, why is he giving me food all the time?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
So
what
nice
class
to
this?
me, yeah. So usually, why he is nice to me, why he's
Yeah,
offering food. But and then I realized that, but I didn't learn the lesson because I cannot change myself. We are like that. So
yeah,
when I was
correct.
in Carbondale,
Yeah,
we used to uh, like offer food. For when I was a student, I was living with my wife and my son in
that's
Carbondale.
Carbondale in Illinois, in the
Illinois,
US.
yes.
Okay,
We
all
still
right.
used to because we are very like in poor in terms of like we used to have
Yeah,
$200-300, but still we would like to invite our teachers,
yeah,
friends in the house, and
all
organize
right,
food and stuff like that. Because this is our culture, and this is like inbuilt in our DNA. Right? We cannot change it. But
correct.
see the perspective that in Bangladesh or South Asia, when I was growing up, maybe things are different now at the time, offering someone food or even a girl or boy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily mean that you would like to date that person or you are basically treating nicely because you would like to take that person out. So that was kind of, very surprising.
Let me ask you, did she come out try to say, okay, Mr. Arif, can you declare your intention with this food you're offering me? Did she come out directly, or you just sensed that she was just wondering what's going on?
No, she was willing to go out with me. And then
Yeah.
she thought, because she thought that was kind of
Uh,
she was willing to go out with me romantically.
right. But you just said, sorry, this is
No, no, no.
just
I said that no, please don't misunderstand me. Uh, so
anyway.
that was very interesting. So I realized that if you would like to invite someone or share your food or lunch, um, it does mean that you are interested about that person. So that was my experience. Like but yeah. So
talking about food when I was a doctoral student, I once saw the dean of my college, and I think he just went out, bought some lunch, McDonald's or something. Plenty. He had a lot, carrying a lot. And I just teased him, the way we usually tease. I said, hey, oh, this lunch is heavy. May I join you? Of course. How am I joining the dean? From where I come, you don't even imagine that. So may I join you? The guy said, no, this is my lunch. I said, no, 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 I'm joking. The way as if I was coming to grab his food and run away. I said, no, sorry, I'm just joking. In our place, you wait to be invited. You don't just pounce on somebody's food. Anyway, all right. So
no,
I'm happy that you learned something that helped you shape your behavior. You know,
no,
you
I
know,
was just surprised that
right.
is it so cheap that if you feed someone, it doesn't mean that you would like to take it now.
Okay. Well, that's another story, but that's a very good thing for anybody who is traveling, to another culture, and you know that the food, culture in your place might just be different from what
Hmm.
other people are, so that people don't get the wrong signals. All the time, you can do something, and then inadvertently send the wrong signals to some other people, and that's the benefit of this, what I'm doing here, for us to learn what happens in other places. And I know this is a very short experience. We don't like to prolong this program. That's why I'm not cutting you short. It's just that the message has been delivered. And I would like to invite any other person who wants to be part of this program to send me an email. It's called Cross-Cultural Experiences. One word. Cross-Cultural Experiences. Remember the S? Cross-Cultural Experiences at gmail.com. And so every week I bring in something new, so that in your case, I'm sure you learned your lesson. And she also got the wrong signals. And if somebody who teaches communication, there's always the encoding and the decoding. Somewhere in between, somewhere in between, there might be distortion. As I believe that's what happened in your case. Any final word before we say goodbye to our friends who are watching?
Sure. So, there are so many experiences in my life, like in the 16 years in the
Right.
US, and like, I was in Germany. So altogether, I'm like, 17 years outside Bangladesh
Okay.
experience. And I travel a lot. One thing I learned that our culture, like in our culture, like Asian culture, African culture, we're living in a collective society.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I don't have any people, if you put me in a room by myself, it doesn't matter how fancy the room is and smart and modern is, I would feel like I'm in a jail. I need people in a broken house and talk to people, mingle with people because we are kind of like that.
Okay.
And we are also people person as a communication professor
Right.
and culturally. So many times I found that, because of our openness, because of our frankness, especially, American society, Western society is very individualistic society,
Right.
and they would like to keep themselves in their shells and they sometimes miscode our communication. And I think
Okay.
culture is an important factor here.
Well, there you go. So I want to thank you one more time, and I'm sure you have stopped that habit of inviting people to come eat your food.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.